What's going on, world of YouTube? This is Rick Sparrow with eXp Realty, and I'm just throwing this video out. Of course, my nose starts to itch, my head itches the second I hit record, and just throwing a video out to kind of give my perspective why I never trusted realtors on all our real estate transactions prior to me becoming a realtor. And it's really simple in the aspect, if you're not living the backside of a transaction, if you haven't gone to school, if you haven't done your CE classes, you haven't worked on a team and done transactions, you don't really know all the stuff that goes on the backside. As a buyer, seller, and we'll just stick to the selling side. So as a seller, you know this is what I want to sell my home for. You have your realtor that here, really more like this, and they're a buffer between everything that goes on the back side. And that's what the realtor does. They make it seamless and really a smooth, comfortable transaction for the seller. Not trusting people, meaning me, I didn't trust people, and I don't trust everybody. Society has given us, I guess, a decent reason to not trust some people. But with that, there's a million great people that are trying to do good and trying to do right. But when it comes to money, a real estate transaction is some of the largest transactions people are going to live in. And if you don't understand where your money's going, you're always going to assume the worst because you want to know you're getting the best deal. All our realtors were amazing people. Doesn't necessarily mean I trusted them because I didn't know them that well. And even then, money gets involved and you start questioning why people do what they do. And it simply just comes back down to, I never understood the backside of the transaction. Now that I've got a few transactions under my belt, I understand why some realtors kind of, I don't want to say sporadic, but can be a little bit all over the place because you're juggling a lot of people when you start getting escrow and title. They have a team. Your lender, they have a team. Your buyer's agent, they have a team. So it's not like you're speaking with just those three people. You have their teams involved, and in turn, there's more opinions involved. So if something goes wrong, you don't just have those three people you deal with. So you're trying to balance and juggle a lot of different opinions that sometimes possibly unnecessary, but there's so much little moving parts that take place that everybody needs a team to keep everything running efficiently. If you're a seller and you don't know what's going on, you just assume this is the value I want for my home and this is the value that I'm going to get. I never understood buyer psychology. I mean, that's another big thing. We say, this is how much we want for our home, right here. And the agent says, well, we're going to market it here and let people drive it up to here. Me not understanding, I just assumed that person wanted to market it, sell it, collect their commission because they were double ending it because we were buying a home with them also. So at the end of the day, what if they missed $5,000 to $10,000 on a sale? Their commission is just a few percent of that. Not a big deal. To us, it was a big deal. We needed every penny out of the home. Understanding today that there is a buyer psychology when it comes to marketing, I would have marketed our house differently in the past. Now that I've watched how transactions play out, I watch how people work, and I understand a little bit about buyer psychology. I'm not an expert at it by any means. I mean, God, I've only been doing it 8 months. But I've seen enough that people are fairly consistent when it comes to marketing and it comes to the psychology of a buyer. I don't want to say you're playing head games, but you're playing a marketing game, and you have to when you're listing a home. You don't want to market it below value. You don't want to market it over value. You want to hit the sweet spot, but you also want to know where that psychology is that is a little bit lower. Say 400,000. You want to bring it below 400,000 to capture a larger pool of people and let them bid it up. I never understood that when I was just a seller. And it probably cost me a little now that I think about it. I mean, We set a number in our head what we wanted, and we did. We got the number we wanted. But I felt like it was a lot of hassles in the process. And again, I didn't understand all the counter offers that go on the backside and the appraisal gaps and contingencies. I didn't understand any of that. And it wasn't from the lack of explanation. I mean, every one of our realtors, through all our transactions, I think we've gone through probably maybe about 8 homes. I still didn't believe them because there's inconsistencies in the way people teach. And there's inconsistencies in the way people teach because there's inconsistencies in the way people perceive things. For me, I perceived everybody as somebody who was trying to get something over on me. And at the end of the day, every realtor was just trying to juggle everything that we were asking them to jump through, all those hoops. Anytime a realtor jumps through a hoop, there's another hoop on the backside of the hoop they have to jump through for somebody else also. So it's not a simple, hey, we'll change this, because, well, now that change has to go through another person who has to sign. There's just a lot more on the backside than just, I say it, she creates it, or he creates it, and that's it. So as a buyer or seller, I never understood that. And I never gave my realtors enough credit for what they do on the backside of balancing people's emotions, when you don't really spend a lot of time with those people. So you're trying to keep everybody happy, keep everything moving forward at a good pace that's fair and equitable for both parties. It isn't, well, let's screw one side to benefit the other side. No, it doesn't work that way. Yes, we always want to take care of our client, but at the end of the day, it's got to be fair and equitable on both sides, meaning there should be no foul play, nothing illegal. Again, fair and equitable. That's all we ask for. And I didn't feel that was happening when I was buying and selling homes, because I simply did not know. And again, I've said it many times, I know now what I didn't know then. And I don't know a lot yet, but I will as time goes on. And understand that your realtor is simply balancing everybody. So if they say one thing and then they say something that sounds a little different a couple days later, it's because they're trying to take words from a lender, words from a title company, words from your appraisal, your inspection, whatever it is, and make it sound pretty when they're delivering it to you. And that becomes a hard balance because, well, as sellers, we want the truth. But do we really want the hard truth? We need the hard truth. But as a realtor, you feel like most sellers or buyers don't really want the hard truth. They want it sugar-coated. They want it put on a white fluffy cloud, and then they want it delivered to you. And it's their best attempt to do that. I know with my clients, I give them the truth. I don't give it bluntly because that's just not me. It's not my nature. I try to put it on a nice fluffy cloud. Here you go. But here's your truth. It's not little bits and pieces of it. It's got to be clear, concise, and it has to be truthful. But again, your realtor is trying to balance the emotions of everybody involved in the transactions. With that is why I never trusted realtors until I became one and understood what really goes on the backside of a transaction. My name is Rick Sparrow with eXp Realty. If you have any real estate questions or concerns, or you just want help in the Las Vegas market, you want the truth delivered on a white fluffy cloud, clear and concise, click the links below. You know the YouTube process. You gotta like them. You gotta subscribe to them. Well, gotta turn on the notifications to know when I'm posting a video. With that, Rick Sparrow again, eXp Realty, signing off.